welcome back to the Talk Healing to Me podcast. Today I'm chatting with one of my dearest friends, the gorgeous Wendy Riordan, founder of Nourish Flow, full-time mum, full-time worker, and soon to be full-time CEO of her own business. She's got a gift for helping women slow down, tune in, and reclaim their energy without the hustle. So today we're talking motherhood, transitions, burnout, friendship, and why Rest Fest and Nourish Flow might be the rebellion that every woman needs. Let's dive in.
This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your doctor. Views shared are personal and not a substitute for professional guidance.
Wendy, how are you really today? Not the Instagram answer. How are you?
I am knackered. I actually just said to one of the girls, I was like, I'm actually so tired. I woke up this morning and I was feeling, so I said, right, get up, get dressed, just feel good. And I had a nice smoothie. And about 2 minutes after having the smoothie, it's like the energy just got sucked straight out of it. And I wanted to go back to bed again. So I'm actually very tired today, Karen. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for the honest answer. Do you know what? And this is what we can always count on each other for, is like just saying it exactly how it is. None of this BS of, I'm fine, everything's great. Oh my God, how are you? None of that bullshit. Let's be
Yes.
honest.
No, it's no, that's the truth. I am very tired lady. I've had a
Yeah.
very, very busy couple of weeks, but yeah, coming out the right side of it now and just trying to look after myself and take it easy.
Good. Well, thank you for the honesty.
No
It's great to have you
problem.
on here. We're trying to make this happen for the last couple of weeks. And like you said, you've had a really busy couple of weeks. Give us a little snapshot of your world right now. Business, family, life. You're at such a big transition point.
Oh God, Karen, I actually turned around to Gemma the other day and I said to her, Gemma, am I that fecking friend? Like, am I the one that has the drama or something going on all the time? Like, it's just not, like, I often say my life feels like the episode of The Simpsons where it starts off one way and then at the end of the episode, it's in a completely different realm. That's how I feel things go for me at times. And that's the whirlwind we're in right now. So, yeah, so I work full time in my day job. And that's brilliant. I've been there for 25 years. Head of support and operations and that. We also then run our own company. My husband, Shane, and I run Pitched Perfect, a glamping providing company. So we do all the glamping at the big festivals and events throughout Ireland. We also set up Nourish Flow, which is a fantastic women's retreat weekend using our gorgeous tents and all that. And then we have Strawberry Glamping running as well, which is an off-site glam site for electric picnics. So when it comes to the summer, most people are like, yay, it's summer, let's kick back and, dip our feet in the water and this, that, and the other. We're like, come on, keep going, keep going. And this week has been, particularly busy. We just had a really, really big festival beyond the pale. So we got in and got out, loaded in 195 tents, dressed them all, celebrated over the weekend, and then took the whole thing back down again. And whilst doing that, and obviously there's a couple of kids, teenagers up in bed still. They've probably been there for 2 weeks. I haven't seen them.
Just sliding pizza under the door.
Sliding pizza under the door, wading through the dishes, realizing actually they must be still upstairs because there's like 2 plates in my press, nothing in the dishwasher. But yeah, so it's been full on and it's been hectic. So yes.
Every summer, I know we have giggles about it, but there'll be summers where I'll be having chats to you and you'll be in the middle of your workday, but you'll be out making a chili con carne for
Yeah.
the festival staff that are
Oh
there
yeah.
putting up tents and all the rest, and then legging it back to your desk for work. I mean, you juggle a hell of a lot. And you're
Yeah.
right, the summers are full on for you, not necessarily the break that everybody else gets.
Yeah.
You're wishing the summer away, whereas most people are,
I know.
wishing the opposite.
And I was
Yeah.
really thinking about it yesterday, Karen. It's like it all happened kind of by accident as well. It wasn't ever an intention that this is the way things unfolded, but it has, and now we're here. And even yesterday, I was like that, running, doing a million things at once, and had to go in and collect royalty in from the cinema and this, that, and the other. And you're just like, I wanted to stop just for a short time. But it's hard to get off the roller coaster, isn't it? When you've got it all trundling along, it's very, very difficult to take the time out and relax and just get away from it all. Especially when you're self-employed, you know that. Yeah.
I genuinely don't know how people do it. And when I see people like just gliding through and we're going to do this, I've a similar thought, like, why is my life so hectic in comparison to everyone else's? And
Are
then I
you
do
that
have the
friend?
thought every now and again, yeah, probably am. But, I've definitely had the thought of, "Oh my god, it would be so much easier to have a Monday to Friday 9 to 5."
Mm.
'Cause I see people checking out of their jobs, and they genuinely don't think about it
I know.
until the next day, and then
Yeah,
they switch off for the weekend. I never I know.
I
So
know.
I'm with you. Let's talk because you mentioned kids. Let's talk about, like, motherhood and the way you see the world and working and all the rest because, both of
Mm.
us, I don't think we're the ones that kinda sat down and went, "Right, we're having kids at this age, and we're gonna do that at that age," you know?
Yeah.
How has that changed your world? And do you struggle with guilt all the way around it? And I say this to men as well, but
Mhm.
we've spoken about it. Tell me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I went back to work with both my kids when they were 6 months old, and so Lily's 19 now and Railteen's 13. Um, and I mean, from when Lily was born, I was commuting, an hour and a half a day to and from work each way. So it was just like, I don't know, it just had to be done, but it was awful. I remember crying on the motorway, being so, so tired, going, "What am I doing?" And you have to, like, what are we doing? But anyway, that's different. Maybe a different podcast. What are we doing? What the hell is this all about? But I remember being so exhausted and just thinking, and yes, the guilt is always there, the underlying guilt of I'm leaving my kid all day long. I'm not getting back till 7 o'clock in the evening. You're picking her up and then you're hitting the house and the housework still has to be done. And Shane was working full time as well. So, that it's just hectic. It's just full on. And there loads of people in the same boat. And moms who chose or who could and chose not to go back to work or whatever, they have it equally as hectic because they're juggling all the balls of all the activities, all of this, that, and the other. There's just always more to be done. Always more. No matter what way you structure your life, it seems like we just have never enough time or there's always something else to be done. And
Mm.
I don't know how to allow ourselves proper space and time to relax. But the guilt does sit there when you do try to relax, that underlying guilt of I should be doing something with my kids, I should be doing something here, I should be exercising, I should be this, I shouldn't, as you would say, I'm shouldn't all over myself
Yeah.
because you can't just let yourself be. It's a real pandemic, like it's awful. And maybe it's just my mind, but I really don't think it is, Karen. I
No,
think
it's
a
not.
lot of
It's there
people
for
suffer
everyone.
with it. Yeah.
I wonder, like, I know social media has a lot to answer for, but do you think, like, did our mums feel like that? Do you think? Or is social media, like, really put this flippin' picture of God trying to
Yeah.
juggle it all and then looking like a flippin' Victoria's Secret model as well? Like,
I'm
fuck
totally one of
off.
them.
Jesus Christ. I mean, we were talking about a
I don't
social media
know.
word this morning of the fat that hangs over your
Your
vulva
belly, your
area. Yeah.
pouch. Don't say the word,
I'm
Karen.
not saying the word.
You'll get cancelled, Karen. That's just between me and you.
Stop saying the word. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, let's switch it up. Tell me about a time where you felt like, "I'm doing something right."
Well, the time I felt I'm doing something right, or I got the feeling, the real big feeling, was when we first moved down here to Leash and we had the tents up drying in the field. And I walked out one morning. And when I saw the tents, the sun was up and it was just so perfect and beautiful. It was like Pinterest picture. And I just thought, oh my God, I can do my own event. I'll do my own weekend, my own wellness thing. And when I had that thought, the pins and needles and the hairs stood on end, the hairs on my toes stood on end
Glad
all
you
the
said
way up,
toes.
all the way up to the top of my crown. And I was like, I knew that that was the right thing to do. So that was a really, really physical reaction to a concept and an idea. And I like to think that that's what you call the superconscious mind. So you've got your conscious, your subconscious, your superconscious mind, and the superconscious mind are those flashes that you get to kind of give you a little nudge in the right direction. And we often ignore them because we think the ego plays, then yeah, the voice comes in, you can't do that, you're not good enough, you're too busy, you need to be a man or you need to right, all that stuff starts, and then you brush it away and then you've lost that flash and then you go and then you see someone else doing it and you're going, feck it, I had that idea. Do you know? That's your superconscious mind, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And I think they're the glimpses that you need to follow because they're the ones that are steering you in the right direction. And that's how Nourish and Flow was born. Oh, look at your wings and all in the background. Oh, can I just tilt my halo?
I could have get some. I've got some sage here. Let's.
Yeah. Oh, hang on here. I see your sage and I raise you a candle.
Last time I had a candle burning in this office, I nearly burnt the whole thing down.
Oh
That's
yeah,
another new
let's not
story.
do that. I'm
Um,
supervising this one.
I know. So look, we've spoken a little bit about motherhood. Let's speak about rest, right? And
Mm.
Nourish and Flow. I know, like, what an amazing festival it was last year, but like Rest Fest this year is the theme of
Yeah.
Nourish and Flow. What does rest mean to you beyond the naps and the bubble baths?
Yeah, which don't happen.
Yeah. Even though you have that gorgeous bath in your house,
I know.
I need to come
When you,
down and have a bath in that, please.
well, you
I'll
need to
bring my
wait till
own
the winter
glam bath.
because the immersion doesn't heat enough water for it. So that's purely for
The two
show
of us will be in with the kettle.
with the kettle. And we were like splashing it up over our knees. And that bit that you were talking about earlier on.
Never mind these two.
No. Oh, I've got tears. My mascara's running. I know. No, wintertime, come for a bath when we've got the heating on. Rest. Yeah. What does it look like in my world? There's always something to do in this house. And because, right, like you're self employed, you get it, right? So even when you try to rest, the mind doesn't let you. And quite honestly, the only time I really rest and I give myself that time to switch off is on a Monday when I go to my Mellow Monday yoga class with Ailish up in Black Hill. And the reason it works is because the guilt doesn't kick in because I'm there for that reason. Do you know what I mean? It's still a to do, actually. That's probably why the guilt doesn't kick in because I'm still mentally to doing something. But I have an hour. Mind you, I haven't been in a couple of weeks because of festival chaos, but I have an hour to myself with these gorgeous women with Ailish guiding us through this. Like when I say Mellow Monday yoga, it's like literally rolling around on the ground, legs up on a wall and things like that. So that's my rest. There's very little else happens. Quite honestly, I'd like to say that I was, down meditating at 8 o'clock every morning. It doesn't happen. None of that stuff happens. So I'm not a Zen guru by any stretch of the imagination, but I crave rest. And the only way I can do it properly is in a group.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it?
Isn't that interesting? Why do you think women resist rest? Like, even when we know we need it?
It's the mental to do. It's the constant doing.
Mhm.
I had I had an experience before of trying to learn how to meditate. It was with I can't remember the name of the type of meditation. Anyway, they have a transcendental meditation right center in Dublin. So I paid a fortune and I was like, I am going to become so zen. It's not even going to be funny. And I'm going to learn how to meditate. And I went anyway. And you do this thing and they give you your own mantra and all that jazz. Lovely. And we were going through it. And when I was in the classroom environment with them learning how, it felt really easy. And it felt like, okay, I can do this. And the mind was stopping the racing. And you repeat the mantra all the time to stop the thoughts from coming in. But then when I was doing it at home on my own and I was practicing, I was doing my mantra, my mantra, my mantra, and then I'd stop and then I go, and then I'd have this clarity, and then I go, now, what have I to do? And then I'd start thinking about other stuff. And when I went back into the teacher a couple of weeks later, and I said, I think I've got it. And she was like, have you? And she goes, explain to me what's happening. So I said, so I do my mantra and then I get clear and then I can get a really good to-do list. Like it comes really clear to me. I think I've got it. Like, and she was like, that is so not what meditation is. But that's how I was seeing it. I was clearing the clutter to get a really good to-do list. So
She's there opening up her eye, making a little note.
I was like, I wonder is there an app that I could just like put my list down from my brain here so I don't have to remember it. I'm
Oh,
not good. I'm not good at meditating.
no. Well, look,
Uh,
I don't know many people that are.
no.
Like, in reality, that are
Hmm.
leading busy lives. And what is the phrase? I can't remember who said it. Like, "Oh, if you don't have, like, 10 minutes to meditate, make sure you do 20." It's
Hmm.
like, "Okay." But, like, when do you actually get to do it? And look, women's bodies, you see all these 5 AM, get up, journal, cold
Yeah,
plunge,
it's it's a
but
lot of
they're
stress.
based on men's bodies who have like a 24-hour hormonal cycle. Women have a 28-day
Mm,
where we turn around those hormones. Our bodies are not meant to work like
yeah.
that. They're
No.
not designed to do that. I am particularly excited about Restfest this year because I can't wait to get in those gates of that magical grounds at Ballykilcavan and switch the hell off. Like, shut everybody out and be there with a group of women who all want the same thing and to be
Yeah.
looked after and fed. Talk to us a little bit about what sparked and what do you want women to walk away from that weekend feeling?
This episode of Talk Healing to Me is sponsored by Clean Boss, created by Joy Mangano, the legendary inventor behind the Miracle Mop and a pioneer in clean innovation. Clean Boss is a botanical disinfectant that kills 99.9% of viruses, germs, and bacteria. It's safe for food surfaces, soft surfaces, and baby high chairs with no toxic ingredients and no rinse required. It's also a degreaser, odor eliminator, and all-purpose cleaner that works as hard as the chemical heavy stuff without the health risks. Check it out at getcleanboss.com/Karen for a clean, better, and living safer life.
Yeah, I mean, Karen, you were there last year. You were amazing host at Nourish and Flow, and like, here we go. Oh, look, the hairs have just stood up on end. So I know it's right. I know it's right. The magic. Like, I was so caught up in the organization with my operations head on, planning, and I did not account for the magic that was going to happen. And the magic came with the women and with all the facilitators and the therapists and everyone who came to contribute towards it, right? And it was unbelievable. And women arrived tense and nervous and kind of, oh, what have I let myself in for? A load of women came on their own, and I thought
Not
it was the
with
most,
tense, by the way, just to say that, not TENTS,
oh no,
TENSE.
with tension, maybe. Yeah, tension. But they all arrived nervous and a lot on their own, which was amazing. And when they left, they were floating out of the place. So, what I would love this year is for women to come again with no expectation. Let's just come along and let's all of us collectively create the magic because I know it's going to happen. I just know it will, and I know the women will leave on a different level completely than they came in on. And the emails that I got afterwards, and they're on my Instagram, all my guest reviews, they were phenomenal, and it was the collective energy that we all brought. It wasn't one single person or one single thing, except for the drumming, which was pretty freaking awesome. But it was the collective of the whole weekend. So what I would love for women to do is just trust in it. If you're feeling, God, I'd love that, or I really need a rest, or I could do it like just world, go away and leave me alone. Just trust in it. Take the chance, come and visit us and let the magic happen because yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I think something that I forgot to say before that, because for everybody listening, um, what is Nourish and Flow?
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? Like, and
Oh,
and
what
you describe it. I might chip in with
yeah,
bits because you're so in it. Sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees, or I can
totally.
see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the,
No, 100%.
the magic clearly. Why don't you tell everyone what is Nourish and Flow Festival?
So the reel that I have off in my mind, or the thing, right, is it's a festival style wellness event focused around pure rest and relaxation, guilt free rest and relaxation, designed for women. In this beautiful walled garden in Stradbally, County Laois, where we look after you, we feed you. You can go and have, time at the nature spa and have a massage and then join in all these workshops, or you can just go and sleep in your tent all weekend. So but my festival style wellness event is kind of what my tagline is in my mind, but I don't like that, right? And I don't like it for two reasons, right? And I can't. And help me, Karen. Help me create something different to describe it. I use the word wellness because people are familiar with it, okay? It's not a wellness event though. And this is where I'm struggling with the description of it because to me wellness is a bit of a loaded word. It's everyone knows what it is and everyone, well, I'm saying everyone, I can't speak for everyone, obviously, but the perception that that gives is more stuff to do, right? You have to, it's wellness, you have to eat this way. You're going to be told what to do. It's all about, doing certain things and holding a yoga pose or staying in a nice bath for as long as you can and all that jazz, right? It's not that at all. It's not that at all. It is wellness on the level of you're looking after yourself and you're giving yourself the time that you need to decompress your nervous system, to settle your nervous system and breathe and just take a little bit of time for yourself. Okay. There's no one going to tell you what to do. There's no expectation of anything other than you just floating along through the weekend and doing what you want. And the festival style, I suppose, comes from the fact that you're all going to be in these beautiful bell tents that is very festival themed. We've got all the festival flags and we've got all of the beautiful fairy lights throughout the place that you'd see in a festival. But there's no like late nights or loud music or that kind of typical music festival. So yeah, it's a tricky one, I feel, to kind of get and that's why Rest Fest kind of came about as a sub name of Nourish and Flow, Rest Fest at Nourish and Flow, because it is a festival celebrating rest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when you talk about those tents, what's so beautiful is they're huge. It's not your
Mm.
typical, "I'm going away camping in a two-man tent and you've got a squish in it." Like, they're big,
No.
huge, like,
Oh, they're
mini
huge.
houses that you're walking into and the
Yeah.
circular thing, like, they feel really bougie and really luxurious, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're walking in, you have your lovely little side table and your lamp and your lovely mat on the ground, like, it's luxurious. So
Yeah.
you have that feeling of being in nature and being outdoors, which I don't know, that's another thing on my guilt list that I feel guilty for.
We don't get enough
Um,
time out. Yeah.
no, but then you're in this ground of like beautiful trees and forest and then the gorgeous food as well. I think the thing that really brings it to life for me, and you've said it brilliantly, is not having to do anything. You don't
Mm.
have to dance around the place. You don't have to,
Yeah.
learn anything. It's actually your permission slip to slip out of life and the daily chaos and
Mm.
responsibilities and everybody wanting a piece of you and putting yourself right at the top of that priority list for a whole weekend. And if you want to sit and write down to-do lists for the whole weekend,
Do
absolutely
it.
do that if that's what makes you
Exactly.
feel good. But I love that you've got like a pod where you can just go in and be silent and rest and do nothing. You've
Yeah.
also got all of these different themed places where people can
Yeah,
go
we're
and
gonna
sit
do
and rest.
actual in the woods up in Ballycilcavan. I've bought these, the reclining kind of deck chair things. So I bought like 10 of those. So we're gonna put them up in the woods so you can literally go and forest bathe. But like, because I like my creature comforts, you're not lying on the floor. You can if you want, but you can also lie in a nice reclining chair and look up at the leaves, which would be really nice, really nice. And that
Yeah.
feeling of being held in those zero gravity chairs is actually really lovely. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you're in a little hammock almost and you're in amongst the trees and it's just you and there'll be no music, there'll be no sound, there'll be no chatter. It'd just be you and nature and the birds. And yeah, it'll be fab.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. What would you say to someone that says, I just don't have the time to rest?
I don't either. I have to make it.
Yeah.
Like it's just unless you make it, it's never gonna happen. Like no one else is gonna give you that.
Mhm.
We're giving you, and Karen, you're opening the whole weekend for us with your permission to pause session and what you're gonna do and talk about in that. Like no one is gonna give it to you, only you.
Mhm.
There's no two ways about it, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, I see that our nervous system needs it, and a lot of times we don't recognize that until it's urgent,
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
we're at the point of like, "Oh my god, I am burnt out." And
Mhm.
I'm sure there's a lot of people listening here that can recognize that because we just keep going until we can't,
Yeah.
and that doesn't work. One of the things we
Mm.
do every single Friday in our MS to Success programs is schedule rest and schedule fun. Just
Oh,
one small thing in each of the
that's
areas
lovely.
because there's so many different types of rest. There's digital rest, there's social rest, there's audio rest. There's so many different types and we don't realize there's even spiritual rest.
Mhm.
You don't have to fucking meditate. You can just
Mhm.
sit there and look out the window. You can sit
Yeah.
and close your eye and do nothing. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes that's a little bit confronting because that's
Mhm.
then when all the voices go, "Oh my god, and you gotta do that." So
Mm.
sometimes it is nice to have a little bit of,
Yeah.
distraction somewhat. But
Yeah.
how would you say rest has changed your creativity or your relationships or your confidence for that matter?
I think I think you have to be confident to allow yourself time to rest, don't you?
Mm.
You have to kind of develop that layer of it's okay for me to do this, to give yourself the permission to rest. I think it kind of comes the other way around. And then when you see the benefit of rest and even just taking that time out, things do become clearer and you can kind of move in a direction maybe that you want to go in without the stress and anxiety that your mind, it's thinking constantly in the hindbrain and it's not giving itself a chance to catch up with itself. And rest is so important in order for you to do that. Excuse me. Nothing is designed to be on 24/7. Like nothing. Do you know what I mean? Maybe evergreen trees. I kind of wonder about that sometimes. Like, why are they always green? They don't seem to get a break. Poor trees.
Here's a little look inside Wendy's head.
Oh no, you don't want to go there. But though, seriously, they think about that, the evergreens. Anyway, but apart from the evergreen trees, everything else takes a rest. Everything else takes a break in nature. And I'm sure the evergreens do as well. But you have to rest. If you don't rest, it's going to manifest in illness. It's going to manifest in your body, keeping the score, as the book says, and it'll come about in different ways that will make you rest. You will have no choice but to rest, and then that's where it gets frustration because you've reached burnout. And I think sometimes, and it's not a blame thing. It's not a thing like we wear sometimes burnout as a badge of honor or that thing like we're decorated generals running around. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And I do it all the time, but I don't know how to not do it. And therefore I have to make the time for the rest in between and hope that at some stage in my life it'll start to balance. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it is so important. I know we've had this conversation before when, before COVID and, working full time and I was out in the car and you'd have the chats to your friends on the phone because you'd get a chance to do
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
don't know if this is for everyone or it's common to the two of us for sure, but
Mm.
working from home now and that kind of piece of things changing, it's straight from laundry or cooking or whatever it is, straight into doing something else. And I certainly don't feel that I'm getting the time out unless it's like I'm going for a walk and I genuinely have to force myself to, and I love it when I'm out,
Yeah.
but it's like that getting that kind of in betweeny downtimes, it's going straight from one
Yeah.
thing into another with very little rest or pauses
Yeah.
in between each other, but like even catching up on the phone. Like,
Yeah.
being in the car on a long journey when I was working was my time to catch up with everyone. I'd chat to my mom, I'd chat to you, I'd chat to whoever it was, and
Yeah.
you'd have those friendships. It's kinda, I don't know about you, but it's kinda harder these days, in my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours on this, to make sure that we keep that time, those friendships, um, that connection of showing up for each other alive,
Yeah.
because we're so engrossed in the fucking to-do list.
Yeah, the busyness of everything,
Yeah.
100%.
What
Definitely. And the like that resonates with me so much, and you know this too because we like talk time. That's what we used to call it driving the car. It's like, oh, hello, welcome to Talk Time with Wendy. And today on Talk Time, we've got Karen for 20 minutes till we get from like Leash to Cashel or whatever it is. It was great, like, and my sisters and you don't have that. And look, there's pros and cons to working from home, and there's definitely pros. But yes, I completely concur that the cons are I am now currently sitting here. I'm looking out that window. The sun is shining, and I know that there's washing in that machine to go out.
I
Do you know
know.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're constantly jumping from one thing to the other in your brain, and you're like, and the kids are still asleep up in bed, and it's I have to get them up and they have to eat, and then I've got to call at 1 o'clock. And do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, you don't get that separation that you did previously when you left to go to work.
Yep.
And that is definitely trickier to navigate, and even more reason why. And what I'm seeing for RestFest this year is actually, and I'm delighted that there's loads of little groups as well as people coming on their own, which is bloody amazing. So amazing friendships were formed last year. There's other pals going, let's make this our weekend away. Let's make this our girls' weekend away instead of going off and, maybe going off and staying in a hotel and having a few drinks, this and the other. It's like, no, we're going to shift to this rest because they both need it, but they also want to catch up with each other, do you know?
Mhm. But there is a lot. I think there is a lot of people who are coming away from going out on the absolute tear with loads of
Mm,
alcohol. I mean, back in the day, oh my God, so much fun. Now I can't handle
no.
crazy hangovers. I don't actually want to go out and drink loads of
Mm.
alcohol or have that type of outing anymore because I suffer afterwards. I think that's what's so beautiful about Rest, Fest, and Nourish and Flow. It is not concentrated on, like, there's no bar there,
No,
which
no.
but what you've got, and obviously people can bring their
Yeah,
own
have a
stuff if
glass
they
of wine
want.
with your dinner, but, like, even at that and it was so nice that everyone had a glass of wine or did their own thing and stuff, but then they left on this high, on this absolute high, not feeling like they'd been raked through the gravel like you normally do after a girls' weekend away. They left on a high, and that gives you so much more footing to deal with the rest of the year. You've got September, you're heading into kids going back to school, work tends to shift in September because everyone's back from holidays and it's full on September to Christmas. And just even to take that weekend to give yourself the grounding that you need to move forward into the last quarter of the year. Yeah, big difference between doing that and going on a boozy weekend where you kind of are back, 3 kind of weekends to recover
Yeah.
before you can get going again. Yeah.
But it is that nervous system reset
Yeah.
and being nurtured, with nature, with physical
Mm.
rest, with mental rest, with connection, with, care, with fun.
Yeah.
And then there is the pieces around, the workshops that are happening as well. It's such a necessary thing for people to do
Mm.
just to take that time out. What would you if there's a woman listening today that feels like she's on her knees, what would you want
Mm.
her to hear?
Hold on for one more day.
I know a better day. I'm holding the microphone, but I actually have one in front of me.
Yeah. Okay. Break free, break from the chains. Yeah, girl, I know, I get it. I get how you're feeling and it's awful and you feel like you cannot get up off those knees, but just stay there. Take the rest. Take the time that you need. Stay on the knees. Don't unpack your bags there though, but take the rest that you need. You said that to me and I thought that was the most amazing saying. Give yourself permission to pause, permission to rest. It's okay to be really tired. It's perfectly normal. Um, and then give yourself the space to recover and you'll get up again because yeah, we can't be functioning 24/7. Well, I tell you a nice story about rest and how amazing it is
Please.
in a little analogy, a show and tell. So about I'd say 7 or 8 years ago, the kids for Mother's Day, Shane, got me a little mini orchid, right? Like little tiny ones, tiny little vase, and then the orchid, and it was so cute. And I love plants and flowers and stuff. And I had it on my desk in work, and it bloomed, and it was fabulous. And then, as orchids do, their blooms fall, and then you're just left with like green leaves and a stick. So I kept my green leaves on my stick and I chopped the stick off and I just had my green leaves. And 7 years ago, those green leaves, when we moved from Dublin, came to Laois with us. And I had other orchids at this stage. And the orchids that I had gotten and were gifted surrounded my little bunch of green leaves. And every year, maybe twice a year, my other orchids would grow and they were beautiful and they had all these blooms. But my little bunch of green leaves just never did that. And she was just like, oh, I'm too tired. She was just too tired. So I was like, "Oh, don't give up on the green leaves." And I kept her for 7 years. It's just little thing and her leaves were getting bigger and bigger, but there was no bloom coming. And I just used to think, "Oh," and I talked to her and I was like, "Oh, come on. It'll be okay." And then I started feeding her orchid food and all the others were all around her, fabulous on Instagram, beautiful. And she was just like a bunch of green leaves. And she fell out the window one day and everything. It was awful. Her dish broke and I put her in a silver pudding bowl.
Did
So
she fall out the
she
window
fell
when
out the window. She was on her knees. There was still a spark though. There was still life in the green leaves. But anyway, I pulled her back in. I put her in a silver dish and kept looking after her. And then about a month ago, I looked and I was like, oh my God, here she comes. And I could see the little bloom, the little stalk starting to grow and grow and grow and grow. And I was like, I was so excited. I was like, I can't believe this. I was sending my sisters, they think I'm a nerd, like all these pictures of, look at this, it's 7 years old and she's never flowered in 7 years. And, I kept the faith and she's waking up again and she's absolutely fabulous. And then she bloomed and she has to date the most magnificent bloom of any orchid I have in my possession. And here she is now. Look at her. Oh my God. I know. Isn't she beautiful? 7 years.
Look at all of the blooms. 1,
Yeah,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 14,
there's
15 blooms?
millions. And look at her little bowl because she fell out. She's in her silver pudding bowl. And her lovely green leaves. Oh. Mwah. But look, it just goes to show the importance of rest because she needed it. And you said to me, what would you say to that woman who's on their knees? Just stay there and take the fecking time that you need
Yeah.
to rest until you can come back as an orchid.
I love it. Does she have a
Yeah.
name?
No, just fabulous.
I love
She's
I love
fabulous,
it.
isn't she? Yeah.
I love that piece of advice. What I remember hearing, I don't know who it was. It was like somebody
Imagine I
talking
dropped her
about
now and the whole
something.
thing broke. It'd be Devo.
She's in her protected bowl.
Yeah, her bowl of protection.
No.
Sorry, Karen. Go on,
I'm so
messing.
sorry. We were never not going to mess on this
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
But yeah, I remember hearing someone talking about it, saying, "Oh, my therapist gave me this advice, and I have continued to use it, which is why there's still a laundry load in my washing machine since yesterday." She was saying about, if the dishwasher's there and it's to be empty and you don't empty it, just put it on again.
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
Just put it on again.
But sometimes I ram more stuff into the clean stuff because it's like,
Sadie said to me the other day, "I opened the dishwasher,
yeah,
but it's clean." I said, "It's not." She goes, "But
yeah.
it is clean." And I said, "No, because I put dirty stuff in on top. I put dirty cutlery in." So I was like, "I'm not emptying it right now. I do not have the capacity to do that. I've got a laundry load in there that I think has been washed twice already. Is it going to get put out today? Maybe,
Mm,
maybe not."
yeah.
I think that choice, that
Yeah, yeah.
powerful choice of going, actually, it doesn't mean anything about me if I'm not perfect. It doesn't mean anything about me if I'm not
No,
getting to the end of that list. And actually, who's gonna give a shit?
no one gives a shit. It's just us. It's our little mind ego things going on. And my mom used to say to me always, even when I was a kid, like, you do too much. You take too much on. You're always on the go. Always. Like at home when we were kids, I don't know if you used to do this. Anyway, when it was summer, like you'd have chips for your dinner, chips and sausages or whatever, right? We'd want them in a bag so we could sit outside and pretend we got them from the chipper. So she'd put them in a chemist bag or whatever bag that she could get her hands on. We'd be all fighting over the bags, the paper bags and the press, and we'd have our chips outside, sitting outside thinking we were great, like with our chipper chips in the bag, a chemist bag. And then I came in one day, I was like, Mom, I have the best idea. Like, I think we should open up a takeaway restaurant in our back garden because we've got the window that we can just have the deep fry fryer at and just pass out the chemist bags of chips out the window and we could just charge for them. And everyone could just sit around the garden eating bags of chemist chips.
You were always destined to start a festival
I
company.
know, yeah, exactly. She was looking at me like I was half mad, but
Can we do that at Restfest?
have bags of chips out the
And
window.
just
Oh
a
my
little
God.
Xanax in the bottom, like a screwball ice cream, except you've got a Xanax. Just sprinkle a Xanax and vinegar.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. But no, we won't be doing that. Oh my
I
God,
would
that's
love that, though.
hilarious.
That would be quite funny.
Screwballs, Alex. The alternative ice cream machine is pulling up right now.
I
Oh
love it.
God.
I love it.
We can have like CBD syrup and stuff on the top of them. Oh my God, we're onto something there.
This is a business idea. I think we might have to investigate a little bit more, Wendy. We could
Oh,
definitely do with that.
crying.
Anything else that you would like to share?
In terms of Nourish and Flow, I think actually we just barely touched on the food, but the food is a big deal because we all
Big
love
deal.
food.
We both love our food.
No. So on the Friday night, I am so excited, Karen, because we have Don Canazales, authentic Spanish paella being cooked over open fire in the walled courtyard, and it looks absolutely incredible. They'll be doing a chicken paella, a vegetarian paella, and a seafood paella. And they're huge. They're huge, big fire, and the huge. It's just going to be magic. Like, so that's on our Friday evening, and they're doing gorgeous gluten-free desserts and everything that's all gluten-free. And we're all dietary requirements will be looked after, so don't worry about that. Just contact me in advance. I send you out a little thing to fill in anyway. And then for Saturday and Sunday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is going to be served by Strawberry Fair, who are local caterers in Stradbally, which is amazing. and we'll be looked after with the rest of our meals all weekend by Stradbally Fair too. So, and you won't have to look for a thing. We've loads of teas and coffees been given to us from gorgeous companies to put out, and we've got goodie bags and things like that too. So yeah, the food was gorgeous last year. So yeah,
It was stunning.
yeah,
But like
it was
desserts
pulled
and
at the
everything,
last minute and everything. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
unreal. So it's a great point to make though, because people, all they need to do is show up with themselves, a
Mm.
pair of knickers in their bag and a change of clothes and maybe a set of pajamas.
Yeah. And if you want, ram your car to the hilt with everything you want, because your car park is literally 2 minutes from the campsite. So
If even.
if even. So don't be afraid. Just throw it all in. Who gives a shit? Like, it's all there and you have it if you need it. Better to be looking at it than looking for it.
I love it.
Do you like
I
that?
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's nothing worse than that. For anybody
No.
that's been to Electric Picnic before, the walk from the car park to the thing is
Oh,
about half
yeah,
an
yeah.
hour, and
Yeah.
everybody wants to kill each other. It's like an IKEA trip multiplied by 50.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but that's and I suppose just in terms of that, then our numbers are around. I'm hoping around 100 guests this year, which would be great. So it's not like a massive thing or anything, ladies. It's not thousands of people. It's not thousands of stages. The ethos is one thing at a time. So we do have a schedule. It's on the website, but it's only one thing at a time. So you don't have to make a decision. The only thing you have to decide is, are you going to go to it or are you not going to go to it? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not complicated. It is all about
Easy,
taking
easy,
it easy,
easy.
relaxing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And have it
Yeah.
like it is a luxury getaway in
Mm.
nature
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you're recharging your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
I know.
Oh, Wendy, where
I
can
know.
people find it?
So website is nourishandflow.ie. And we're on Instagram at nourishandflow.ie and Facebook. And there's some TikTok going around too, but I haven't had much time to update that one. But Instagram and Facebook and on our website, all our information there. And just DM me with any questions and stuff like that.
I love it.
Actually, if you sorry, Karen, I just really weird. I put the intention out there this morning and over the last few days just to because I've been so busy, I haven't had time to do like when you're running your own business, you are everyone, you are everything. You're the social media manager, you're the accountant, you're the this, that, and the other, and you're all the hats. But you have to just accept you can't do all the time. So I put my intention out there that this will reach the people who are meant to be here. And that's it. I am not getting stressed over this. This is going to reach the people who are meant to be here. And as soon as I set that intention, all of a sudden, more and more orders have started coming in, and then inquiries, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, wow, the power of intention is so amazing. And just it happens to happen in the last couple of days. I've got the same inquiries about how do I get there? Is it public transport? So it's the nearest town is Stradbally. So a train to Stradbally is the most direct route if you're going on public transport, and then a taxi from Stradbally out sorry, what am I saying? A train to Portlaoise is the most direct route, and then a taxi from Portlaoise out if you're doing public transport. There might be buses from your local town depending where you're going, but Stradbally is the town. Ballykilcabin is just outside us. So, and if you're driving, super easy. It's on the motorway, the M7, and then you turn off for Stradbally and follow the sat nav to bring you straight to our gates.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
What are the dates?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. 15th to the 17th of August.
2025, in case anybody's listening to this in a different
2025.
year. And if it is
Yeah.
the different year, just look up Nourish and Flow.
Yeah.
And you'll see what.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And get the latest dates for it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It'll be so cool.
I want everybody to go. I had so much fun at it last year and co-hosting with the lovely Miss Hilary Rose.
Yes.
And having such a
Brilliant.
giggle. That was the first time meeting her, and we had such a laugh.
Oh, she's
and
so gorgeous.
fabulous,
Yeah.
fabulous human being. And she's
Real
been a guest on the
connection.
podcast as
And
well.
I knew that we'd have and your podcast was brilliant. I loved it. With Hilary, and such a gorgeous connection that the three of us made, which was really special, and you could see that. And she's again this year, and she's hosting. So you're going to be opening up the ceremony, opening up the weekend, and then after the dinner on the Friday night, Hilary's going to do a somatic breathwork session as well with us all, which should be really, really lovely, really special. So yeah, it'd be lovely.
Oh, it's gonna be so great.
I
So
know.
great.
And we've got sound baths and drumming circles and qigong, which anyone has done it.
A lot of times, all of these things are things that you think about that you'd like to do, and then you don't get a chance to do it. Or actually, a friend of mine, Leanne, and I must send this to her, she sent me a thing last week. I'd really love to do a sound bath, and she was like, "Where can I do something like this?" it's all here in the one
Yeah.
moment,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is so lovely. So instead of
Yeah.
having those thoughts of, I'd like to do that, this is your opportunity to come and try all those things and decide, if you
Yeah.
want to do them when you get home. And then the thing that I loved last year was so many people came by themselves. So
So
many people
many.
arrived by themselves to take that
Yeah.
time out, which was so lovely. And
Yeah. It was
everybody
so
just
lovely.
welcomed. But what was so gorgeous is the love and support that each and every person had for each other. And it was like walking in those gates. You had an understanding that everybody is here for the same
Mm.
purpose. Everybody wanted and needed a timeout. And so there was this kind of unsaid communication of, I see you, and whatever it might be. And people had different reasons,
Yeah.
of really wanting to take that time out. There
Mm.
was a couple of people that stood out in particular, that
Mm.
definitely made the hair stand on the back of my neck. But everybody walked away from those
Mm.
gates feeling like they had recharged and
Mm.
really given themselves the time to think and be
Yeah,
clear,
definitely.
you
One thing
know?
that stood out to me, Karen, was there was quite a few women there, myself included, who had someone who recently passed, and they were definitely, me included, bringing grief to the table. And it was just it was so special to be part of that, and for me to be able to be with those women as well, knowing what they're going through and how it felt, and for them to take that big step because they came on their own. And it made a big difference to, and it shifted. And the one thing, actually, one of my frequently asked questions when I did a video there during the week was, do I have to talk about my feelings? No, there's no talking about your feelings. But what happens is, though, things shift, especially in that drumming circle. Stuff shifted for everyone. Oh, look at the goosebumps again. Karen, like you could pluck me right now.
Be like a dolphin by the end of this.
But like honestly, things shifted for every single woman in that tent, and no one spoke about their feelings, but the energy moved it all. And the energy of the circle of powerful women. Oh my god. That moved it all for everyone. And there was snots and there was tears and there was laughing and there was crying and there was, I mean, it was just amazing. And there was no judgment and there was no talking of feelings, there was no nothing like that. It just happened and everyone loved it and accepted it. So yeah, so powerful.
Ah,
Yeah.
so beautiful. I can't wait
Yeah.
now. Countdown is officially on.
It is on, girl. It's
Yeah.
on, girl. Ooh.
I love it. I love it. Would you like to do our quick grind? Delete.
Quick
Would
round
you
fire.
quick grind fire? No, I
A
got
quick
time
round of
for fun.
fire. Oh, we might have a
No,
fire this year, actually. We might have a fire this year, Karen. We talked about this, didn't we? I think
we
we should have a
did.
fire pit. Yeah, we'll do that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. We can use the fire underneath the paella maybe as well. But yeah, I've some ideas around that. We do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Quick
Okay.
fire round. You ready?
Okay.
10
Right.
quick
Well,
fire
now
questions.
bear in mind that it takes me a while to process, so it mightn't be that quick, but we'll go for it.
Listen, honey, I've got to find the questions. Um,
Stolen.
all right. So, if you followed your childhood dream, what would you be doing now?
I'd be a nun. Genuinely? That's what I wanted to be. I thought this is a no-brainer. You get a gaff, you get a car, you get a job, you get to live with your mates,
Get free clothes.
you get free clothes. You don't have to bother getting your hair done. Do you know what I mean? Because you had the habit thing on. Someone comes and cleans your house, and it was like
Someone
perfect. You
comes
get
and cleans your house. Hang on, I missed the memo.
yeah, when you're a nun, like okay. So how this all came about was I went to a convent school, right? And I know nuns have a bad rep sometimes, but like I had the most amazing nun teacher, Sister Dempsey, and I loved her. And she used to play the guitar and Puff the Magic Dragon, and I used to just love it. Like Puff the Magic.
Is that a you?
No, she used to sing Puff the Magic Dragon. Swear to God, I don't think she knew what it was about, but we sang Puff the Magic Dragon. And I loved Sister Dempsey, and she was just the kindest person ever. And then my mom used to clean the nun's house. So on our breaks in school, we'd run up the back of the field and there was the gate into the nun's house. And I'd be able to say hi to my mom because she was the cleaner in the nun's house at lunchtime. It was like, this is amazing. You get to see your mom during school. Like, it was brilliant. So then I was like, I totally am going to be a nun. Like, it's a no brainer. Job, gaff, cleaner. You probably get paid, you get your clothes, don't have to worry about your hair, makeup, and all that stuff. And you get to work as a teacher, sing Puff the Magic Dragon.
Could we join a nunnery when our kids are grown?
And we could probably make our own.
Yeah,
I think that's a cult, though. We probably have to be careful.
But do they get paid? Like, do they get like?
I presume they get paid. Do nuns get paid? And my dad used to say to me, "Hey, Dip," because that's my nickname, Dippy, Dip. You'd be a nun where there's none wanted. So yeah, Sister Wendy.
Hang on, can you join the nunnery at age 50?
I just did a big snort there.
That would be a nice pension. I don't own my own.
No, I don't know how you qualify to be a nun. Like, do you have to?
Noel's parents' friend is a nun. I'm asking Sister Mary. That's it.
I haven't seen a nun in ages. I think Sister Dempsey's still alive. I should look her up.
She's
Oh my
puffing the
gosh, she
magic
could
dragon.
come to Nourish Flow. She's puffing the magic dragon. Puff the magic dragon.
Oh my God,
I loved
Wendy.
it. I loved her. She was amazing.
All right, so it's
Now, I also did have another nun teacher, Hermana Maria. She was Spanish and she was hard work.
Oh,
She probably put me off my nun
so you have
path.
balance.
Yeah, the yin and the yang of the nuns.
I think that is my favorite answer I have ever gotten out of all of the podcasts.
Yeah,
That took me by
none.
surprise. I did not know.
I played the Virgin Mary as well in the school play, and Kevin, my little brother, was the real live baby Jesus. Because we had the in with the nuns, because Mammy was the cleaner. So, like, Mammy was pregnant, had the baby. Sister Dempsey was casting for the thing, and she was like, "Oh, perfect, blonde-haired girl and a baby. Let's get them on the stage."
I want to hear so much more about this story. Oh my God, that's great. What
Oh.
age was your brother?
He was like, well, he was born in July, so it was December. So what? August, September, October, November, 5
So
months.
it's a proper baby.
Oh yeah, proper
Wasn't just like a
baby.
5-year-old like pretending to be a
No.
baby.
No, like no. He was an actual baby teething. And I remember, and I was raging because I didn't get any lines in the play because I had to hold the stupid baby. Uh, my time to shine was like outshone by this baby. And he started crying, and it was actually in the church instead of in the stage in the school because they were doing up the hall. And he was crying in this huge big church, and I had to give him the ribbon of Mary's dress to suck so he would stop crying because I had nothing else to give him. I couldn't really feed him a bottle. It wouldn't be very authentic.
What age were you?
6th class.
Oh, I've so many. How long did he have to be on stage? Because if he's only 5 months old, if my
We
mom
were there for ages. I was carted up and down and all. Do you know what I mean? We
had
had
to
to
be
get
breastfeeding by the end of it.
Oh my God. And I was absolutely bricking myself because I had a long dress on and I had to go up steps with the baby in the silky dress and everything. Karen, I was like, I am going to kill myself or him or something. And then the kings with their gold and their frankincense and their myrrh. But it was, yeah, hilarious.
The nun at the side puffing the magic dragon. Of course, she thought that was okay. With the smoke.
Yeah.
The incense. Sorry, I don't mean
The
to be making
incense.
fun of.
Oh
I'm
no,
not.
sorry. Yeah, sorry, Jesus.
Yeah,
you're
sorry,
gonna-
baby
Yeah,
Jesus.
there'll be no. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, that's very funny. Oh,
So
right.
that's it.
Oh, I've mascara all the way down my face. What advice would you give to your younger self other than put the ribbon in the baby's mouth?
Put the ribbon in the baby's mouth. Yeah, I suppose I'd tell her that it always works out. Like, even when it's really shit and you can't see that it's going to work out for some really fucking weird reason, the universe aligns and things always work out, and even the worst stuff can actually turn into the best stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And maybe just like exercise.
No, stop it.
Well, I tell her to move a bit more, so when she gets to this age, that she's not like having to kind of move the whole mountain. Do you know what I mean? So it's more of a like, yeah, just move a bit more, and yeah, it always works out.
Gotcha. Very good advice. Okay. Who inspires you the most?
Oh, Jesus, sorry, I got a fright there. Nearly came into the office. Who inspires me the most? I actually don't really know. That's a weird thing not to know, isn't it? I actually don't know, Karen. I just kind of keep going. And I don't kind of get involved in stuff in like social media and the whole scene. I don't see it a lot, so I don't know that there is anyone. I suppose the most inspirational book I've read, or the most inspirational person who has helped open my mind, and that would be like Bruce Lipton or Wayne Dyer, and they were the ones that kind of came to the to me when I needed them in book format. But I can't think off the top of my head. I should probably have someone, but I
No,
don't.
we got two
Yeah.
answers instead of one. That's perfect. Sorry, I don't know why. Well, I know my nose is running from laughing so much.
Yeah.
Was there a particularly dark day that turned into a positive, and what was the lesson?
Gosh, there's been a lot of them. Like, yeah, a lot of dark days. Um, Myself and Aoife, my niece used to always say, and it's weird, dark day, but my sister passed away long time ago, and she had 4 kids. And uh, fast forward X amount of years, and Aoife, one of her daughters, was living with us, and myself and Aoife used to get on so well, and like we used to always say, we had the most amazing friendship, as well as obviously been auntie and stuff, auntie mother sister, she used to call me. Um, that it's really weird. If Pauline hadn't have passed away, we would never have formed or created that amazing friendship, and she wouldn't have come here to live with us, and that kind of stuff. And it's probably a bit deep, but that was definitely something that came out of something pretty, yeah, pretty awful.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
That's lovely. It's still hard to believe that Aoife passed, isn't it?
yeah.
Still hard to believe it. Yeah. What a gorgeous, gorgeous human.
One of my last conversations with her was, what's the plan? What are you going to do? What she was asking me, and it looked like she had actually overcome the cancer, and like so we were planning what's the plan, and I said, oh, I'd love to just be able to do Nourish Flow full time and just really go at it, because I had taken a break from Nourish Flow. We'd done it 2019, and then COVID hit, and then everything went horribly wrong, and then I didn't come back until last year, so I really wanted to be able to come back and do it again. So I feel like every year when I do it, that I'm honoring that conversation that I had with her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a fabulous reason to keep going, especially on those days when it is hard.
Yeah.
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 Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Or else you could just puff the magic dragon.
With the Xanax screwball.
And if you're just joining us.
Oh God, what does your ideal day consist of?
Oh, it's definitely waking up with no alarm, because I hate setting my alarm. And just it's very simple. It's just the ideal day is not to be working, and actually to be able to switch off and potter around and go for a walk. And maybe I love going to like my little yoga retreats and the day things that Ailish runs up in Black Hill. It just gives me that lovely time away. Um, have nice food, have nice meals, just relax. I'm just very simple, easily pleased lady. Yeah. Time with the
Sounds
kids when we're not killing each other, and yeah. Lily's just there listening and laughing now.
brilliant, brilliant. And
Yeah.
if you had a roast dinner, speaking of food, say it's
Mm,
roast potatoes and carrots and meat and whatever else, do you
mm.
eat your favorite thing first, your favorite thing last, or a little bit of everything together?
I always eat the veg. I love the veg. The veg is my favorite part of the roast. I could take or leave the meat sometimes. Do you know what I mean? But definitely the veg and the gravy go first. Then probably the meat with the spuds. I do like the spuds, so I don't think I have an exact method every time. I think it depends on what's there in front of me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of everything tends to get probably put in. Yeah, definitely. Leave a roasty till the end though, to squish around on all the gravy and
The
soak up the
salty
last little
bits.
bits, the salty bits. Yeah. Do you remember the roast chicken, Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy and I went away. Where did we go?
We went to your friend's house, your friend's spa area, at the guest house.
Lisa's. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went to the Wicklow Escape. and had a weekend away. And what was so funny, this was our kind of first weekend trip. It was our first romantic weekend
I
away,
know.
Lindsay.
Well, we only met each other once in
In London.
pre-COVID, and then our friendship formed virtually for 2 years, basically. And we didn't meet again until you came to visit, like. And then we went on our first weekend away together.
I know. It
Yeah.
does sound like a
So
romantic
funny. I
relationship.
know. So
Yeah,
funny.
that's so funny. But the funny thing was is that I showed up with a
Yeah.
roast chicken, coleslaw, and gluten-free bread.
Gluten-free rolls. Yeah.
Gluten-free
And I was
rolls.
like, oh my God, that is our go-to as our family. That's what we used to have in my mum's on a Saturday. Hot chicken rolls with coleslaw.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't
Sister
beat
from
it.
another mister.
I know. I know. You
Yeah.
can't beat a roast. Actually, my mom says the other day, it's funny, not funny, but they're a lovely guy that grew up on the same road where I grew up has passed, and he was ill for a very long time, like since his childhood. And my mum was like, "Oh my God, I feel so bad," because she's headed away and she couldn't make the funeral. She said, I'm gonna drop over 2 roast chickens in the bag from the thing." I was like, "Ma'am, you can't just randomly show up at someone's house with 2 rotisserie chicken bags. Like
Just
that
turn it into a curry
that's
at
too
least.
weird."
Like.
Exactly. But like if it was me and you would do that as friends, but you don't
Yeah,
show up
yeah.
at a funeral with 2 bags of roast
No,
chicken. Like
roast
that's
chickens. That would
weird,
be
isn't it? Or
well,
is
it
that
would give them a giggle, to be fair. So maybe that was the intention. Do you know what I mean? It would be hilarious.
But
Look
is
what
that
you
a
want from
family
across
thing?
the
Yeah.
road,
There's
give us
2 roast chickens for you
2
there.
roast
Sorry
chickens.
for your loss.
But so nice though. Fair play to her, do you know. But I like that she went straight to roast chicken.
Yeah, 2 bags of roast chickens. That's the
Yeah,
go-to, isn't it?
yeah.
Well,
Pretty
it
expensive
does.
now. Their roast chickens, like over a tenner or something.
Are they?
Yeah,
A
that's
tenner?
just a super value. Yeah,
I thought
easily.
they were like a fiver.
No,
5.50 max.
no, only in the evening time when, ladies and gentlemen, roast chickens are now half price. Roast chickens are now half price. And then you just like beeline for the roast
Like
chicken
the yellow
aisle.
stickers and Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah, yeah. But no, over a tenner now for roast chicken.
Tenner. I'd prefer to buy it myself. Do you know, would you like to know my tip for cooking a roast chicken?
Oh yeah,
It has never failed me.
Okay.
This was a fellow that I used to go out with when I was a teenager, and his dad used to be a great cook, and he would get the roast chicken, and he put a little bit of butter, oil, and some herbs. So I just got like a bit of olive oil because I'm lazy and I don't want
Yeah,
to do the thing with the butter.
yeah,
It's too much thing.
yeah.
And I put like whatever things I can grab out of the bread, like thyme, rosemary, something like that. But then you turn it upside down
Ooh.
and you cook it that way. Now you're supposed to only turn it upside down for an hour, but I'm too lazy. I just leave it in there. My sister likes the crispy thing on the top. I
Oh
couldn't be
yeah.
arsed. I don't finish it. But it's so juicy.
Oh,
It's
delicious.
so juicy.
So
Like
everything
you haven't
runs
got to
into the meat instead of runs into the
all of
dish.
the juices and the flavour goes into the
Oh,
meat.
I'm
It's perfect. So then I
starving
take it
now.
out, let it rest, and then turn it around. It's
Yeah,
perfect every single time, and it
delicious.
stays juicy.
Oh,
There you go.
nice.
There's my top tip.
Thank you.
If you had, excuse me, if you had 3 people to join you for dinner who have either passed or they're alive, who would they be?
Oh God, Karen.
I know. I'm
I
sorry.
can't
I'm
even
so
remember
worried
anyone's
about this
names.
question.
Like, just like honestly. Oh, honestly, like if I could have 3, I need to probably have 4. I bring my mom, my dad, my sister Aoife, and my brother, and let's have a chat. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be lovely. What would you
it's
make for dinner?
hilarious. There's like more over that side than this side. I've got them on both sides. I'm very well protected.
Is it going to be chicken coleslaw and gluten-free rolls?
Yeah, no, I think I'd have to do the roast chicken though. I'd have to go with the roast dinner. I couldn't just give them fucking like coleslaw and a shop bought chicken.
Not when
Do
they're
you know what I
coming
mean?
all the way back.
No, you'd be raging.
Oh, you'd be right.
You'd be raging.
Yeah.
Imagine making the trip down and you're handed like coleslaw.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, I get it. It is nice, but I think they'd prefer a roast dinner.
what dessert?
Maybe roast lamb, actually. Well, my dad would want trifle. Actually, my dad used to go and you say, Dad, do you want, like, at Christmas, you have all like apple tart, well, not apple tart at Christmas, but you'd have like whatever, a selection. And you'd say to him, do you want this, or this? And he'd go, yeah. So you had to give him a bowl with a little piece of everything in it. It was just a selection of everything. So I think there'd have to be a bit of trifle, definitely an apple tart with cream there as well. That would have been the go-to on Sunday dinner.
He's got a dessert party bowl.
Yes, a dessert party bowl. And my mom loved lamb and the crispy bit of the lamb, the top of the crispy bit on the leg of the lamb.
I have never cooked lamb.
Oh, well, I'll give you a top
Ever.
tip for lamb.
Go on.
Get a leg of lamb, get a knife, go psycho on it, right? Shove like peeled garlic cloves all over it and shove loads of rosemary stalks in and loads and loads of salt and pepper on it and like oil and whatnot. You don't need much oil because it's very fatty anyway. And then put it in your oven low and slow. I think we used to do it like 160 or something for 4 hours.
Oh,
And oh my God, so good.
right.
Delicious. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Low and
Is it
slow.
like just Easter time that you get lamb though? Is it just particular times of the year? I
No,
should
you
know
can
this.
buy
I've
it
had
all
the
the
butcher.
time. It's expensive. Like you can buy it all the time. We saw lots of lambs this week. It's feeling kind of makes me want to go vegetarian. I say that like it's a bad thing going vegetarian. It's clearly not. I just really like meat, but I feel bad when I see the actual animals.
I know. Is this where I talk about go to Dwyer's Butchers over in Marion Shopping Centre to shop for my dad and his brother? Sorry.
Roast chickens are half price on
Roast chickens.
Saturday.
Yeah, five.
Does he do
Actually,
roast
25.
chickens?
He does. Not
Does
cooked.
he?
Not
Oh,
cooked.
he does the chicken.
No.
Yeah.
He does the chicken. He does the
Yeah.
great Wagyu beef burger.
Oh, nice.
Don't know why I felt the need to put on a Liverpool.
I love it. I love a good burger.
I love a can of Coke and a bag of curry chips in a pharmacy bag. Okay,
Oh,
sorry,
too
I'm getting back
funny.
to it.
No
We were
worries,
having
go
too
on,
much
go
fun.
on. Okay.
What's your favourite song?
Jesus. Oh, Karen, I really don't have
It's
favorites
a
of
Jesus banger,
anything.
isn't it? It's a Jesus banger.
It's Puff the Magic Dragon, clearly. I actually am terrible. I don't have favorites of anything. Isn't that really weird? I don't have a favorite.
Name a song other than Puff the
Favorite
Magic Dragon.
favorite dog, Loki. Name a song other than I like relaxing to a song called Sunset Lullaby. It's just music, but it's my go-to to relax. If I want to, actually that's a good tip. What do you do to relax if you don't want to meditate and this, that, and the other? Putting on some really nice instrumental music for me works. And there's one called Sunset Lullaby, and it's so beautiful. And it kind of like, oh yeah, I love it. I'll send it to you.
Okay, nice. We'll put it in the show notes at the bottom,
Yeah.
so that you can click on it. Two more. What is the book that you gift the most? You've given me a couple of books, by the way.
Have I?
Yeah.
I can't remember
You gave me
that.
Florence Scovel-Shinn's book, and you gave me
Oh, that is a great book. The Game of
what's
Life
your
and How
name?
to Play It.
Yeah, but also your man.
Wayne? No.
No. It was all about God and
Conversations with God.
conversations with God.
Oh, Neil Donald Walsh.
That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite books I have
Yeah.
ever. Now I listened to it, which I thought was
Me too.
better.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gifted to me on Audible. Just that
Oh,
was going to help you out. That was
God, that was nice. I didn't realize. I
fascinating.
forgot I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, so those are the kind of books that I have gifted to people, I suppose, and they're generally Audible as well because I'm an Audible girl. The Conversations with God is probably very mind blowing. It's pretty eye opening. Florence Scovel-Shinn, I feel, is a great book because it turns everything on its head. It's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And actually, to me, it's made me think of things totally differently. That this is all just a game, and we are either the players or being played, and you decide which way you are. We've had lots of conversations as well with my chats with ChatGPT about how actually we're just, we're placing orders on the internet. That's all we're doing. That's what life is akin to. That the universe is the internet, and you access it through your browser, and there's firewalls there which are equivalents to your ego and your blocks and all that stuff. It's actually really fascinating. We should talk about it another time
We'll have
of
to
how
come
you
back for another
can
episode.
parallel that because it actually makes everything accessible to you when you think of things in the material form to make the spiritual accessible. So did I answer your question?
I mean, yeah, and about 5 more that I didn't ask you, but I'm grateful that you did answer them. No, I'm joking.
Hilarious.
You're
Oh,
definitely going to have to come back. We've seen this happen in real time. Both of us have had conversations where one of us is up and one of us is down, or vice versa.
yeah.
And then we'll put out an intention, we'll create something and manifest it, really, like
Yeah.
bring it
Oh,
into our
100%. Yeah.
realm. And we've both been. What's interesting is what's been gorgeous about our friendship is that we have both been going through different things at different times and been there to support, to care, to be that voice that's either like, "Hey, you're okay," or "Come on to fuck,"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's been really, really lovely. And even though we don't live very close to each other or wouldn't see each other a hell of a lot in person, it really doesn't matter. That friendship and that
No.
support is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
No, it is. Especially when I had to call you 2 Saturdays ago in an absolute crisis.
That was okay. Oh, bless you.
But
I
anyway,
just wanted to put my arms around your pet.
kind
And look,
words,
it all
and
worked out.
yeah, it all worked out.
It all
Exactly.
worked
There's a dark day. We
out.
won't go into it here, but it
Mhm.
does work out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. I hope I know the answer to this last question. How do you switch off?
I think we were talking about this earlier on. Mellow Mondays. The winter, I switch off. I do switch off in the winter. So I can't think now in my mind how I switch off because I can't switch off in the summertime. There's so much going on. But I definitely switch off in the winter, and it's definitely involves a community, a group of people in my local yoga center, and the stuff that goes on up there. That's how I switch off. And tapping, actually, tapping. I look a bit crazy. Tapping's great for switching off.
Yeah.
Actually, is the quickest thing ever to settle your nervous system, to get you down. Oh, I see the yawning feels like happening already as soon as I even think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. So
Mm.
EFT, if anybody wants to Google it or tapping,
Oh my God,
there's
it's
loads of
amazing.
great.
Actually, we're going to have to incorporate it somehow into Nourish and Flow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Definitely. And I would say, the switching off sometimes has to be by force. Sometimes it has to be by force, which is a perfect way to segue into go look up Nourish and Flow. And how do people find you? How can they contact you, Wendy?
Yeah, so website is nourishandflow.ie. We're on Instagram as well, nourishandflow.ie, Facebook and TikTok. Just reach out to me. Any questions, I'm always there. I'll answer everything that you have questions about. There's loads of frequently asked question videos up there, loads of images and videos and pictures from last year to give you a really good idea. The website lays out gorgeous, clear of what's going to happen, because I know people like to know in advance what's going to happen. They don't like uncertainty. And actually, one lady that I forgot to mention, Nicola Connolly, who's Nunaya Beauty, she does this most amazing products. Nunaya, she lived over in the South America for years and years with all the tribal people there. She's going to be creating the most amazing workshop, cleansing ritual, really deep spiritual self-care ritual on the Sunday morning, which will really ground us all. And then our closing ceremony too. And Central Labs are going to be there. They're a sponsor as well of the event, along with Nunaya. And she's a gorgeous Elaine, another Irish woman who started her own business, doing her own brand of supplements purely because she burnt out. She was down to her knees. She was the girl on the knees. I told her the story about the orchid as well. And Elaine is going to be there as well, and she's going to give us samples and stuff for products. But she's so beautiful, and again supporting other Irish companies to kind of help all us women rise together.
I love it, Wendy. It has been a joy, such a
Thanks,
joy
Karen.
speaking to you. Thanks for being my friend.
No, thank
Thanks
you,
for your
Karen.
friendship. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
the chats and the giggles.
Yeah,
I think I need to buy you a nun habit after this conversation, and I need to find out if we can retire as nuns.
yeah,
That would be
that would be grand. Like, I'd be happy with that.
I mean, I don't know what the Catholic Church could get a lot done with us, couldn't they? We
Yeah,
go
I
in
don't
and sort all
know.
that shit out.
Yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know. Would I want to be linked there? I think we'd have to think of a different thing, but like we'd have to be careful.
the Protestants have a lot more money. The Protestants have a lot more money, I think.
Loaded.
Yeah.
No way. The Catholic Church is bloody totally flush. Like,
But you ever see the Catholic Church's versus
biggest
the
landowner in
Protestant?
the world, huh?
Look at the Protestant churches though versus the Catholic churches. There's a lot more.
Yeah, no, but that's because of, back in the olden days and all that jazz.
But
Do you know what
I
I mean?
went to Fiona's Christmas carols in her
Oh
parents'
yeah.
church. They have heated seats with like the leather
Shut
thing at the top.
up.
The leather and the spongy thing. I sat down, was like, I could come to mass here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, maybe
Heated.
it's because the Christianity thing is almost about torture and guilt, isn't it? The whole
Yeah, maybe.
concept of it. So maybe we had those really hard wooden seats just for a reason. Don't
for
get
the
too
misery.
comfortable, girl.
Love the misery.
But the misery. Loved the misery. Yeah, no, no, I don't, yeah. But anyway, the nun thing didn't happen.
On that note,
Thanks
for listening to the podcast. Wendy, you're going to have to come back.
I will. Oh my God, we'll come back and we'll talk about the simulation of the universe and the internet and how it's actually the same thing.
Yeah. And we might call a nunnery and ask how we sign up.
Oh my God, I could
at
get Sister
retirement
Dempsey
age.
on. I think she's still alive. She must be at least 100 though.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks for joining.
You're very welcome. Talk to you soon.
Thank you to our sponsors of this episode. You can visit getcleanboss.com/Karen. And also a thank you to our video and podcast producer and editor, Aoife McNamara at Imagine Media. Thank you.